In this video, we are going to discuss generative adversarial networks. I'm going to kind of give the framework of what they are, their different components, and I'll kind of give a little bit of the intuition behind how they work and why they work. And training them is actually a little difficult, and so we'll kind of spend some time discussing how you actually train them. It's not straightforward how training these actually works, especially if you're kind of new to this stuff. So first, let me take a second to kind of build the intuition behind, kind of the point of GANs and how they actually work. So a classic example that's used to explain generative adversarial networks is you have this, it's kind of like a game between counterfeiters and the police. And so the job of the counterfeiters, as I've drawn quite poorly on the left, the job of the counterfeiters is to try to make fake money that looks almost identical to real money. And the police, their job is obviously to figure out which money is real and which money is fake. And so the counterfeiters and the police are kind of in this adversarial deadlock where the counterfeiters want to keep making money that's indistinguishable from the real thing, and the police are working hard to try to figure out which money is real and which isn't. So they kind of play this game where the counterfeiters try to make some fake money, and then the police are like, "Oh, this money is obviously fake," and then the counterfeiters kind of go back and they try to tweak their design to try to make money that's even more similar to it's fake money that's similar to the real money, and you kind of keep playing this game for a very long time. It's kind of analogous to training the GAN. And what the end result actually happens being is counterfeiters will end up making money that's indistinguishable from the real thing. They'll end up making fake money that's indistinguishable from the real thing. And so what happens is that the police can't tell which money is real and which is fake. And so that's kind of what the end game or the end is, and there's like theoretical stuff that kind of goes on with this, with Nash equilibrium and whatnot. But that just kind of gives you the intuition. So there's kind of two components that we're going to discuss. There's the counterfeiters, right, and then there's the police. So the counterfeiters you're going to see are in GAN terminology that's called the generator, and the police is the component that describes that is called the discriminator. So yeah, I've just shown it right here. So we have two different models actually that's going on, and so the generator is what is going to try to fool the discriminator. So the generator is the kind of analogous to the counterfeiters, and the discriminator is the police. And so let's actually just first talk about the discriminator. Discriminator's job is actually quite simple. It's really just a binary classification task that it's trying to solve, and the discriminator is just trying to figure out whether or not an input is fake or if it's real, right? That's kind of the job of the police, trying to figure out what money is real and which money is forged. So the discriminator, notice that when I mean classify, I'm not talking about the class of the input. Remember that for analysis, think of this as being unsupervised, so you have no class labels. You don't really know what the true values are. So for analysis, suppose that everything is unsupervised. And later we'll discuss a different flavor of a GAN called an auxiliary classifier GAN, and that actually does accept supervised data, and you're going to see the results of it a bit later. But let's suppose that everything is unsupervised right now. So the discriminator really just is performing a binary classification task. And so what the input to the discriminator is when we're training this, the discriminator gets two batches of inputs. The discriminator gets a batch from the real data set, and the discriminator also gets a batch that's fake, that's from the generator. And so the output of the discriminator is just going to be whether or not these images are real or whether or not these images are fake. So that's really just the job of the discriminator. So there's kind of like two kinds of inputs you have to feed into this. You have to feed in real data from real training data, actual training data, and then fake data from the generator. That's kind of like two separate steps. And when we get into the code, we'll actually have to write 2 lines of code that does this. We'll have to set all this up. Okay, and so the next thing we're going to discuss is the generator. So the generator is going to try to fool the discriminator by generating examples that look as if they were taken from the training set. These are actually generated using random noise. So the input to the generator is really just some random noise, and the output of this is going to actually generate an example from that, and it's going to generate like an example. So if we were doing this with images, for example, the discriminator, remember, it takes in some image input because we're dealing with images. The discriminator might be like a convolutional neural network, and so it'll, perform the convolutions and downsampling and try to figure out whether this is real or fake. The generator, you want to give it random noise, and it's going to generate an image from that random noise, and so you kind of have to like use this technique called upsampling that we'll discuss, but you'll have to use that for generating an image. So just given some random noise, it'll generate like a full 2-dimensional image, and I'm going to show you how we can like do this in code, because given like an input vector, and you got to kind of figure out how to warp it so that it makes an image. But we'll discuss this. Okay, and so it turns out that you can actually use game theory and Nash equilibrium to kind of analyze the situation, and like I mentioned before, kind of the end result, what happens is the generator creates examples that are like really dead on. They look almost exactly as if they were taken from the training set, and it's performing so well that creates examples so well that the discriminator can't figure out which one's real, which one's fake. You just get like a probability distribution that's like, oh well, it could be either one, and so that's kind of what the point, the end result of these generative networks. And so let's just kind of look at a picture of GANs and kind of like the overall architecture of how they work, and then soon we'll discuss how you actually train these things. It can be a little tricky to train them. They're kind of like, it's not as straightforward. In Keras is just like calling fit and then you're done, so it requires a little bit of thought on how to train these guys. But we will get into that a bit later. But so what's happening with this is kind of what the architecture of the GAN looks like. So you have some random noise vector, put it through a generator, and out pops some image. And this is fake because we pass it to the generator. And the discriminator gets 2 kinds of inputs, right? It gets real data. This is actually taken from our training set. Fake data taken from our generator. Feed this in, and it's going to figure out which one of these is real and which one of these is fake. So this is just kind of like the overall picture. And when we train the generator, this is kind of the flow that's what's going to happen, right? So this is going to help train the generator. For the discriminator, notice that in order to get to the end result, you really only just need this real data and then this fake data from a generator. So like different components of this are going to be used differently. So you have to train these guys kind of like separately, but these guys like kind of take turns. But we're actually going to discuss training in the next video. So let me just stop right here, and then so we can spend a good amount of time discussing how you train these guys. So yeah, so I'm just going to do a really quick recap here. So remember that with a generative adversarial network, you have kind of like 2 competing adversaries. You have the generator and the discriminator. You can kind of think of this as like the counterfeiters and the police, right? So the generator or the counterfeiters are going to try to make things that look as if they were taken from the dataset, and the job of the discriminator, the police, is to figure out which one of these is real and which one of these is fake. And so you kind of keep playing this game, and eventually what happens at the end is the generator will create examples that are indistinguishable from the training set, and then you can take the generator out of your, of this whole thing, and just kind of use it to generate new data. People have used this before as like a technique for dataset augmentation. You train again on your dataset, and you just have the generator just like generate new training data for you, basically. People have used this for a lot of, just for many different things. So this is kind of like the overview of generative adversarial networks. And so actually in the next video, we're going to discuss how we actually train these guys, because it's not straightforward how this whole thing kind of works and how you train them separately, but we're going to be discussing the details of that in the next video.